If your job applications to companies are getting automatically rejected as soon as you apply, or if you're never hearing back to even get interviews, chances are that there is something on your resume that is either causing the recruiter, the applicant tracking software within sub-job sites, or the hiring manager to exclude your resume from getting back to you and moving forward with interviewing you. And in this video, we're going to talk about things that you can take off of your resume that will make sure that you're successful the next time that you apply for a job. So the first thing is that if you have an entry-level job, if you have a job straight out of college, certification, trade school, or if this is an administrative job, the resume doesn't need to be more than 1 page, guys. It really doesn't. Now, if you want to have a manager job or an executive job, it can be 2 pages, but no more. Believe me when I say, as somebody on the hiring side, that when we post a job, we're getting 60 to over 100 applicants per day. And a job is usually open for a week so we can get enough qualified applicants to fill the role. So they don't have time to look through any more than a 2-page resume max. The next thing that you want to exclude, but before I go to that, let me say there is one time where a resume can be more than 2 pages. And that is that if you're applying for a government or a military job at a site like usajobs.com, then you want all the detail from every job that you've done because their system really values a lot of detail. That's the only time it should be more than 2 pages. Next thing is there was a big trend, guys, in 2022 and 2023 to have a small photo in the upper right corner or upper left corner of your resume. And that trend is now done when you look at how some applicant tracking softwares and some websites will throw any kind of symbols or photos on your resume as it does not match for jobs. Now, these resumes still make it to recruiters, but if they have any kind of a best matching software, you don't want anything on your resume that could throw it off. So if you have a photo, and by the way, I had this on my resume in 2023, but they're recommending that we don't do that anymore. So get rid of a photo if you have it. The only time that you do want to have a photo is if you are in a sales, marketing, or creative type of a role that you're seeking, and your personal appearance is going to be important to the success of the role. Now, on the same vein as photos, you don't want to have any symbols. I've actually had people that I've helped with resumes before have a small symbol, especially creative type people, on the upper left or some part of their resume, like a logo, and they kept getting auto rejected. And I said, go ahead and just take that off there, see what happens. Right away, they started to get responses. So some applicant tracking software was excluding these folks. It's not the ideal situation to have to deal with everybody, but it's a situation that we're all working in right now. So no photos, no symbols. Along the same thinking, don't put the horizontal lines that are in a lot of resume templates, especially on Microsoft Word, to break apart sections, especially if people have like their personal info, the name, desired job title, then they've got their phone number and email. Then all of a sudden below that, they have a big line and they'll go into their summary or objective. Get rid of all of those horizontal lines on your resume, guys. And the same token also goes for the small vertical lines that people often put on their resumes between the skills section. So you really want your resume right now in 2024, especially with everything going on with AI and applicant tracking systems, to be able to read a plain text resume. And like I said, not all job sites have software that will give you as an employer or a hiring manager a best match, but some of them do, and you don't want to be excluded from those quick looks that people are doing if they get 60 to 100 resumes within 1 day, guys. Now, the next thing is talking about Microsoft Word and some of these programs. A lot of them will have kind of these different page breaks and different areas of the resume where they'll like rank your skills and all that kind of stuff. You don't want any of that stuff. Again, go plain text, simple parts of the resume with your education, with your job history, with your skills or objectives, with whatever else that you need to have on the resume to get the job you want it all plain text. Now, some other tips on resumes that I see that can get people in some trouble. One is that I wouldn't put your graduation year for college. You don't want that on there. or when you finish trade school, a certification, anything, simply put that you completed it. And you don't want the person making an automatic judgment call based on number of years for something that you did a long time ago. Also, I wouldn't put any work history or jobs that are more than 20 years ago. Again, if they are, not allowed when somebody reads a resume to be able to make a determination based on someone's age. That's illegal. However, human nature just says if someone has a really stacked resume with a ton of years of experience on it, and this is more of an entry-level or a mid-level job, they might think, oh, this person's overqualified, and you don't want that to happen to you. Now, the other thing that you don't want to include on this is you don't want to have any jobs that you're at for under 1 year. So a lot of people will, put those in there. It just makes it look like you're hopping around too much. I wouldn't put it unless you're really ready to give a great explanation for it. Last thing that you really want to think about is if you have a break, any kind of a break, maybe you had a child, maybe you transitioned from one type of career to another, whatever break that you had, a lot of people will just leave nothing in that category and just have years between jobs. You want to just go ahead and put something in there. So if you took a couple of years off to raise children, took a couple of years off to raise children, back to work. It's okay. Any employer that wants to exclude you for that kind of stuff, you don't really want to work for anyway. Now, I understand that people are frustrated. People are applying to hundreds of jobs right now. The job market is an employer job market. In 2023, we had an employee job market. So it's going to swing back again. But the point is that where it's at right now, guys, you want to do everything you can to help yourself to be successful. So I hope these tips help. If you have other tips for things that you don't want to put on resumes, please put them below so that we can help everybody possible that wants to get a job in 2024 get hired. And I'll see you guys in the next one.